Hello, and welcome back to the announcer's table, and welcome to the first ever episode of Graps Roulette.
Whoa, what a name.
What a name. How did we think of it?
I thought of it.
You did, actually. Well done.
Thank you.
So on this show, each month, we're going to spin our glorious wheel that you'll see at the end of the show. It'll decide for us what pay-per-view we're going to watch and review. We'll do the one a month. And this month, it's decided on WrestleMania 10. We don't have the footage. You'll just have to believe us.
Yeah, it was spun. It's got every pay-per-view on the network, am I right? Or something along those lines?
Yeah, every pay-per-view on the network. Maybe some specials here and there on stuff like SmackDown.
What?
Or Smackville, I think it's called.
What is Smackville?
Oh, you don't want to know.
It sounds like an awful place to live in a sitcom.
I believe AJ Styles and Baron Corbin main evented it. That's all you want to know.
You know Shameless?
Yes.
It sounds like where they live.
Yeah.
Smackville.
Yeah, stuff like that isn't on, but stuff like Evolution is on. Obviously, that was a network special, but that's on. All the Manias, NXT, ECW, WCW, etc.
Yes, it's a big old wheel, and we spun it, and it was WrestleMania 10.
What a start.
Yeah, I mean, we were a bit apprehensive when we first spun it.
You were. I really like Mania 10. Mania 10.
I was apprehensive that we were going to spin it and get some really obscure early 2000s WCW pay-per-view that was going to be awful.
Yeah.
But we got a big boy to start.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I enjoy the new generation. And you're obviously learning it as we go along.
Yeah, I mean, I am a little uneducated to this era. I mean, I know the basics, but...
Yeah, well, it's time for some education.
Delving any deeper, and it gets a bit fuzzy.
Yeah. So we'll not mess about. Let's get underway. So the show starts with a little highlights package, and it's shown throughout the show of like each Mania, saying that it's 10 years in the making, which it isn't. It's 9. But you didn't plan for Mania 10 from Mania 1. That's not how planning things works.
Yeah, you don't plan the first birthday party, but at the same time you plan the 10th.
Yeah. And also, 9 years into the future isn't their 10th birthday, it's their 9th.
Yeah, well...
WrestleMania was born and it was 1. That's not how it works. But anyway...
No, they didn't have a 6-month birthday, did they? Like babies do, stupid idiots.
That is stupid. The highlights throughout try to downplay the importance of Hogan, because this is the first Mania without him.
He doesn't exist.
Yeah, he's not with the enemy yet, so they do show him a bit, but they try to like downplay it. It's like, oh, in this one there was a battle royal, and it's like, didn't Hogan win the belt in the main event? There was a battle royal, all right.
Yeah, look, there was a battle royal. Just ignore that.
Oh my god. We then get Little Richard to come out to sing the national anthem, and he is clearly miming.
I was going to say sing is a loose term.
He sang it at one point.
He sang it at some point in the past, and then he was there as it was played.
And his lips moved similarly, but not the same.
It wasn't even lip syncing, I wouldn't say. It was It was just lipping.
Yeah, he was lipping.
He was lip-syncing that thing.
He really was. Ahead of his time.
Yeah, very much so.
Jerry the King Lawler then joins Vince on commentary, and he bottles a joke straight away, which is great.
Old habits die hard, don't they? He looks like an absolute fiend, by the way.
And he is.
He is a fiend, but he looks especially like a fiend with his manly little rug of a chest.
Oh god, yeah. Someone please arrest this man.
Someone shave him.
Forcibly shave him. So our opening contest is Bret Hart versus Owen Hart.
Well, I mean, this isn't a bad way to start.
No, it isn't. So a quick history lesson. So Bret Hart and Lex Luger won the Royal Rumble in a bit of a John Cena Batista situation, except it was planned. So both men will face the world champion, who is Yokozuna, at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Lex Luger will face Yokozuna first, and then the winner of that will face Bret in the main event. But because whoever is the world champion by then has had to wrestle one match, this is Bret's one match to make that somewhat even.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
it does.
I don't like two Rumble winners, but they've done well to make a story out of it.
It's quite a clever way of getting around it, really.
Yeah.
Like,
And the thing is,
they wouldn't do that today.
no. And the thing is, Vince wanted to push Lex, but the crowd are saying Bret. So it gives him chance to switch if he changes his mind.
Yeah, which, like modern times, he doesn't change his mind.
No.
Unless he's very forcibly made to.
Yeah, exactly. So Bret wants the technical wrestle to start, but Owen keeps squirming away, going for slaps, going for strikes, whereas Bret wants to get technical. But Bret eventually breaks down and just starts to hit strikes himself. And he looks for roll-ups, trying to end it quickly. He doesn't want to hurt his brother, he just wants to win.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a nice bit of storytelling.
It's really good. It's like Owen was trying to wind him up.
Yes, exactly.
Bring out a side to him, which Bret didn't seem to have. It was just like, it's so good. Like already, like the first 5 minutes were just so like story driven, but really good wrestling.
Yeah, no, it was really crisp as well. Just ahead of its time, really.
Oh, massively, yeah.
And there's big like little brother vibes from Owen, just being annoying, just getting on his nerves, just trying to get under his skin.
Yeah, it's like little brother just constantly poking at the big brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting for him to snap.
Owen takes control on the outside, and then as they go back in, he gets a camel clutch in. Owen goes for a crossbody, but Bret reads it and rolls him up. Only gets a 2. Owen then hits a tombstone, and then goes for a diving headbutt, but misses. The tombstone, the second that happened, because we watched this together, the first thing I said was, this is like a New Japan match.
Yeah, big time. This is like Okada, basically.
Yeah, it feels like a similar formula to an Okada kind of match. Like, obviously, we've progressed a bit, but like, still, this would fit right into a Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh yeah, if this opened a Wrestle Kingdom, you'd be like, "Oh, this is good."
This was very good.
Yeah.
Bret goes for the Russian leg sweep, and then a backbreaker and diving fist going through his moves of doom. Owen looks for a sharpshooter after escaping. Bret transitions, showing like, you can't beat me like this. This is my move. This is our move. I know that too well. You can't do that to me.
Yeah.
Which was nice. Owen manages to escape it as well because he knows it so well. They've trained together for years, etc. Bret dives to the outside, but he starts to sell his knee, which Owen targets, and that's a callback to Survivor Series because Bret hurt his knee in that match. And I believe that's the match where Owen started to turn on Bret.
Oh, okay, I get you.
So that was a nice little touch.
Was that the whole kick his leg out of his leg thing?
That was the first time that he hurt it. Then they had a tag match at the Rumble together. They lost, and then he kicked his leg out of his leg. But he was still selling the knee by then because he's a professional.
Got you.
Because he's the best.
You don't get that much anymore.
No, and like we love AEW, but they don't do it much either. But
someone will sell a limb for a match, and then the next week they'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll come out and do their full entrance and be bounced off the ropes.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know, it is
what it is.
We get good matches out of it. So, but the story here is incredible.
Yeah, it's just different level, isn't it?
It really is. And you can tell that's the detail that these two are putting into the match specifically, rather than like a company-wide motive, as we'll see later in the card.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Bret comes back with a bulldog, and it looks like he's going to start going for his moves of doom again. But then he hits a tombstone of his own, and then hits a top rope suplex. And Bret doesn't venture to the top rope often.
No, when we watched it, I remember we both went, "Oh, what's going on here?" Then.
Yeah. Yeah. Bret gets sleeper, but Owen, as the ref is trying to break him off the ropes, Owen low blows Bret and then goes for a sharpshooter again. Bret turns this into a roll up, but Owen reads it. Then they go for. So Bret goes to the second rope and he goes for a. What do you call it? A victory roll.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the victory roll is how he won the King of the Ring. He hit the victory. Well, He used the victory roll on Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, this is the thing because I couldn't remember who won this match. I've obviously heard of this match.
Yeah.
I know that Owen beat Bret at some point, but I didn't know when it was. So when Bret went for this, I was like, "Oh, Bret's gonna win."
Yeah. But Owen reads it. He's seen it before.
Yeah.
And he just pins his shoulders down. He sits on him. 1, 2, 3. Owen has beat Bret.
Yes, and this is the point where it hit me. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it
So
was
that's
this
huge.
match." Yeah, massive.
What a great opener. The best opener in Mania history. I love this match.
It's just like I keep saying, it's just different, like different gravy, really, isn't it?
Yeah, the storytelling's excellent. The in-ring action is excellent. You can tell these two have been working together for years.
Yeah, it's just everything about it is. It's just good, isn't it? Like, there's nothing really you can pick holes in.
Yep. And then now Bret has to go into the main event for the world title. He's lost to his brother, and his knee is buggered.
It's absolutely buggered.
What's he gonna do?
How is he gonna knee people and walk? But mainly knee.
Yes, the classic Bret Hart knee.
Yes, like Randy Orton doing those stomps.
Exactly.
It's the
He's
same.
got to get every part of the body.
Yeah, because he's cerebral
Oh yeah.
and a big.
Well, that was a nice high. It's time to go low.
Oh, we get low, baby.
Cy Sterling of the Hair Club is here, and he reveals the toupee that he made for Fink.
I mean, it looked good.
It did look good. It looked really good, but
It looked like a real good toupee, and I mean, Cy Sterling, he clearly knows his toupees.
Save this for Monday Night Raw.
What modern Monday Night Raw?
Well, honestly, speaking of lows, you can't go much lower than that.
I mean, they've got 3 hours to fill.
Yeah, may as well have a toupee advert.
Yeah, for who's bald?
Honestly, though,
Jimmy Smith.
Fink has a character. Like, it's like, oh, it's the Fink. Look at him, the silly guy with his toupee. If that happened with any of the announcers now, you're like, who's this idiot?
Who's Greg?
Exactly. Who's
They've
Phil?
got no personality and they're boring. He's like Justin Roberts. At least he had his thing and like.
Oh, and he still got it with Moxley.
Exactly, but they're just boring now, aren't they?
Yeah. Our next match is Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon
They're good.
versus Doink the Clown
Ugh,
and Dink the Clown.
they're bad.
Now, this is supposedly a mixed tag match.
But
So it's Bam and Doink, and then Luna. And who could match up with Luna? Oh, you know, a little person.
a little person dressed as Doink.
Because that's the same as a woman, apparently.
Um,
According to WWF in 1993.
I mean,
I
I'm
want to
willing
say.
to bet that if you ask Vince McMahon now, he'd probably still say the same.
Well, it's a hell of an accusation, but I'm not going to argue with you.
It's not an accusation.
As Doink comes to the ring, he squirts Sterling with his flower, which is just a nice little touch. Although, Doink's the face in this match. It's a bit heelish. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's a clown, isn't he?
Who, Cy Sterling or Doink?
everyone involved in this.
Us. Bam controls early. He overpowers Doink for tagging out. And then Dink starts to just run rings around Luna, and he spanks her. Thanks, I needed that.
Hmm.
I needed that in my life.
I mean, Oh, I didn't think you were going to say the spank bit.
History needs to know that they booked this.
That they had a little person spank Luna Vachon.
This isn't real. This is scripted. They told him to do that. They could have chose for him to not do that, and yet they chose it.
Yeah, we're not questioning the morals of Dink.
No, it's the man behind the commentary table who's pretending he
Yeah.
doesn't own the company at the minute.
Yes, the man with the actual toupee.
Oh. Luna hits a Bronco Buster, but misses.
Yeah.
Dink misses with a dive. No one can hit anything.
No.
Luna goes for a dive, but she'd absolutely kill Doink if she did. So Dink tags out. But then Dink squares up with Bam Bam in the center of the ring and just makes him look an idiot because he doesn't do anything because he can't.
I was very excited though.
Imagine. He just picks him up and launches him.
It got me.
Do you remember the JBL throwing a bin at Hornswoggle?
Oh my god, yes.
It makes me think of that.
It's awful,
Yeah.
but it's also hilarious.
Oh, it's so funny. I've watched it on loop many times.
He fully just yeets that bin
Yeah.
as hard as he can at poor little Swoggle.
Yeah. We then go to the finish. Doink looks for a top rope leg drop. It looks awful. It looks like he hurts himself as he misses. Bam Bam then wins with a diving headbutt. They attack Dink after the match. They go for a double splash. They're supposed to miss, but Luna gets all of him.
Yeah, he doesn't roll fast enough.
No. But then she still has to sell like she missed.
Yeah, she's like selling it even though she landed directly on top of him.
This is probably what happens when your boss is sat ringside while she's working.
Genuinely, it must have been quite distracting for all involved.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the co-commentator, though, it's the best because you haven't got him in your ear.
Well, yeah.
Like, he has to stay professional. He can't just scream down your ear.
Yeah, there's some stories, isn't there?
Mm. So, Scott, what did you think of Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna versus Doink and Dink?
I mean, for what it was, Bam Bam's good.
Yes.
Luna's good.
Yes.
Doink has his moments.
Yeah, he can wrestle.
He can wrestle, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at it on that level, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd give it a miss if I was to rewatch this show. I'd probably just be like,
Yeah.
okay, that
There's
happened.
a couple of things on this show that are worth watching, and this certainly isn't one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's almost a filler.
It happened.
It certainly happened. One of these people is main eventing Mania next year.
And it's not Dink.
Dink Mania is going to run wild.
Wrestle Dinkier.
We then see Bill Clinton sat in the crowd with Jack Tunney, and IRS is sat behind him, which is a nice little visual gag.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't quite hit the same as it probably would if we were around back then, but...
Yeah, if that was Joe Biden, then we'd been rolling.
Joe Biden and a big vaccination needle was sat behind him.
Oh my God. If Karrion Kross was sat behind him, let's not get into that.
No.
Our next match is Crush versus the Macho Man Randy Savage in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah.
A Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah. So that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll give a quick brief of the story of this match before we get into it. So,
Hit me.
it's stupid, so beware. So, Crush and Macho were friends. Macho was on commentary at the time. Crush had a match with Yoko on Raw. Yoko kept hitting him with the bonsai drop over and over.
Okay.
Until he was injured, wrote off TV, that sort of thing. Crush came back and was mad at Macho because he never called and he never helped. So Crush did the obvious thing, and he aligned with Yoko, the man who did it to him, and was mad at the person who didn't help.
Of course.
So this is why Crush is with Mr. Fuji. Did that all make sense?
I mean, there are holes in the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And it's stupid.
I can look past the holes.
Yeah, because
But
we're gonna get a fun Falls Count Anywhere match.
I was gonna say I do enjoy a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Yeah, especially when the rules are normal.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they be normal?
Yeah, I mean, let's just get into it. I think this is the first one in the company history, so
It must be the benchmark then.
yeah, it's what everyone is based off since.
Yeah.
Crush immediately throws Macho into the barricade. He goes to the pin, which is weird. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Crush has won.
Crush won that pretty quick.
Yeah, that was quick. Wow.
Squash.
He squashed a former world champion.
Yeah. Big push.
The ring announcer then says that Macho has 60 seconds to get back into the ring.
What?
So the rules of this match are you have to pin your opponent, and then they have to be incapacitated for so long that they can't make it back to the ring in 60 seconds. But you have to make it back to the ring.
I hate it, Dom.
It's stupid. It's never been done again, because why would it?
I don't want it to ever have been done.
You know, people make fun of TNA for like their reverse battle royal and the reverse ladder matches. This is a very TNA gimmick.
Yeah.
Like WWE were doing stupid stuff first. Let's not forget. Oh,
and this was a real stupid thing, and I wasn't very happy when it happened because I realised that okay, now we're gonna have to sit through like 10 minutes of this.
Yeah, you thought we were through it, but no.
Yeah.
Macho gets back in the ring and Fuji hits him with the Japanese flag. Crush then grabs his bag of coke from the sides.
Fuji and his bag of coke.
Yeah, well, yeah. But Macho throws it into Crush's face. Macho hits a dive, then he slams him, and then he hits the Macho Man elbow. He throws him out and pins him.
Do you know how you know that was a kayfabe bag of coke?
Because they didn't want it in their face.
Because Macho would never waste coke like that.
He wouldn't share it like that. Crush he beats the count, obviously. Why would you kick out of the 3, by the way? Like, you've just got to get back in the ring. You've got 60 seconds of rest.
Yeah.
Then.
It's like it's not even going to end the match. Like, just lie there, get extra rest, if anything.
Yeah. Crush backdrops Macho out of the ring. Macho takes control as they brawl up the ramp. Savage pins him off of, like, basically nothing. It's just a punch or something.
He, pushes him into the guardrail or something.
Something stupid.
He then... And then Macho pins.
Yeah. He then ties him to what can only be described as a sex swing backstage.
Yeah, it's like they found someone's dungeon. Someone's
red. Cheers, Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah, Jerry, you forgot to lock the door again.
Yeah. So Macho ties him to this like pulley contraption. He pulls it up, and Crush is supposed to dangle there for the 60 seconds. But as Macho runs away, he immediately just falls.
Yeah, and it would have looked cool if he had like dangled.
Yeah, but he just immediately fell.
Yeah,
it was really funny. Savage runs back to the ring. He wins, and then he assaults Mr. Fuji for no reason.
It's because of the coke.
He shared his coke with him.
Yeah, but he didn't want to, and he felt pressured to, so he was like, you know what? Have my coke.
Wow. What do you think of this match overall?
How do I be nice?
You like Macho Man?
I like Macho Man.
Yeah.
I hated the concept.
The format was the big issue with the match.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Yeah. I think they had an interesting idea for a finish, and it just went wrong.
Yeah, it was just like...
So it kind of killed it.
I just don't... I didn't get the whole pin and get back in the ring. It took away from it a lot.
It's just weird that they were like, okay, it's a forced cut anyway match, so how do we do it? Oh yeah, pin and then 60 seconds. Like, why was that their idea? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't care for this match.
No, it was odd.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot worse though.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like you say, the spot was going to be cool. It's just a shame that it didn't like work.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
reminded me, was it it was a pay-per-view last year. It was Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, when he handcuffed him to the lighting
Yeah,
rig.
it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Where Owens just clearly won because it was like a last man standing thing.
Mm.
Owens clearly won, but they couldn't get the handcuffs off, and it was just awkward. And
Yeah.
yeah,
But that didn't kill that match because it wasn't the finishing spot. So
no, but it kind of took away
oh, it
from it.
ended it. It definitely ended it.
Yeah.
Our next match is our first title match of the night.
Ooh, who could this be?
Leilani Kai faces WWF Women's Champion Alundra Blaze.
Leilani Kai got a jobber entrance.
Oh yeah, she did. I forgot about that. Oh
Yeah,
no.
at WrestleMania, challenging for the
Oh.
title.
Oh. It's funny now because like to get a women's title match now, you need to win a Royal Rumble or like an Elimination Chamber. You need to go through a lot of women. Back
Yeah.
then, it was just, are you a woman and can you be at WrestleMania?
Are you going to be there? And have you got
Will you
gear?
bump?
Yeah.
Will you bump? Great, you're in a title match.
Cheers, you going over.
Yeah. I'll have a little, not rant, but a little discussion on women's wrestling after this, but we'll go through the match.
hmm
Because there's no story here. There is no story to this one.
No, there's nothing. It's just a match.
No. Yeah. Um, honestly, and it's so short. So Leilani Kai starts to overpower Blaze early, but Blaze is just faster. She outruns her. She escapes. That sort of thing. Uh, Blaze hits Arana for 2. That looked really good.
Do you know what? She seems really good.
She is, and I'm gonna bang on about that afterwards. Like I
Okay,
said,
I'll hold off.
yeah. Leilani Kai hits a big hair toss and a huge slam for 2. You don't see many hair tosses nowadays.
No, it's kind of like as the focus is gone more towards women's wrestling, it's kind of fallen in the wayside. It was quite a big divas move, wasn't it?
Yeah, going for each other's hair.
Yeah.
Mm. Blaze fights back and hits a lovely Northern Light suplex to win the match and retain the WWF Women's Championship.
Yeah.
It was a good Northern Light suplex, and Leilani Kai was quite big compared to Alundra, so did well to, get her up and get her over.
Yeah, and like I said before, Alundra Blaze is impressive.
So
Like,
Alundra Blaze was so unbelievably ahead of her time. She had knockout bangers with Bull Nakano. I don't know if you know Bull Nakano.
yeah, I know bits.
Yeah. So they would have matches in the WWF, in Japan, all over. They had great matches.
Yeah.
And basically, they brought back the women's title because Alundra Blaze was just so good. And then they featured her less and less. And then she went to WCW, and that's when we got the infamous dropping the title in the bin.
Well, in the bin, yeah.
Yeah. And like WWF for years painted her as the villain, but she deserved better. But the opponents just didn't exist outside of Japan.
Yeah, and she came at the wrong time.
She did. If she was here today, she'd be having a great time.
She'd be huge.
Yeah. She's definitely one of the biggest trendsetters in North American women's wrestling. Like, she doesn't get the credit that she deserves purely because WWF or WWE blacklisted her for years because of
Well,
what she did.
she got inducted, didn't she?
Yes,
A
but
few
it
years ago.
took far too long to happen.
Yeah, but I remember when she got inducted, like Sasha, Charlotte, Becky all came out and like when they do like the red carpet for Hall of Fame
Mm.
ceremony, and they were like, most excited to see her going because they like looked up to her.
Yeah,
So
she definitely paved the way.
It's like without her, what would have happened for women's wrestling? Like, would there have been the Sasha Banks, the Becky Lynches?
Yeah, she's definitely up there with like the Trish and the Lita, China.
Definitely.
She's 100% up there with them. Like
But
honestly, maybe above them in my eyes.
she's never really spoke about in that vein.
No, and she should be a lot more. She's brilliant.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, now backstage, Rhonda Shears flirts with Shawn Michaels and Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, I didn't know who this was.
Women's empowerment.
I think
She just can't handle herself around these sexy boys.
I just think that's how people behaved around Shawn Michaels at the time.
I would flirt with him.
I would, and I'm a completely heterosexual man.
Except for Shawn Michaels.
And Adam Cole.
Yes. And Burt Reynolds.
I don't really know who this man is. It's
funny how we've just come away from, you know what, Alundra Blaze deserved a lot more credit, but it was just her gender that held her down because of the man. And it's like, Rhonda Shears flirts with Shawn Michaels, and who can bloody blame her?
Who is Burt?
You don't know who Burt Reynolds is?
Not particularly.
He's like one of the biggest action stars of like the early 90s.
Like Sylvester Stallone.
Look at that mustache.
What was he in?
Boogie Night.
What?
The Smoky Bandit.
Do you mean Smokey and the Bandit?
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Look, I don't know. I just know him as Burt Reynolds. Like, he's famous because he's Burt Reynolds.
I've never heard of Boogie Night.
He was a 70s, 80s, 90s heartthrob.
Okay, so Shawn Michaels then.
Yeah, but with a mustache.
I was trying to think of a wrestler with a mustache that could compare then, but I couldn't.
I thought of one, but I shouldn't say his name.
Cody Rhodes.
Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, there we go.
Our next contest is our second title match.
Back to back, baby.
Wow. Men on a Mission. Challenge for the Quebecers WWF Tag Team Championships.
Yes. Would you care to say who with?
Johnny Polo, of course.
Ah, yes. The leader of the flock.
Yes. Johnny Polo, who would become like ECW champion and NWA World's champion.
Yeah.
And just one of the most influential wrestlers in like the early 2000s.
But you wouldn't have guessed it looking at him here.
No, because he was dressed like an idiot with a croquet mallet.
Yeah, he looked dumb.
Yeah, he did. But he was with the Quebecers. Of course he looked dumb.
He was with former ROH champion, PCO.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Small world.
Very small.
Wrestling is for life, apparently.
Wrestling's odd.
It's very odd.
Things happen in wrestling that wouldn't normally happen in real life.
Yeah, and they shouldn't either.
A man dressed as a Mountie became a zombie.
Yeah, and won a title at the age of like 50.
And is now in the tag team with a very nice, very evil person.
Yes.
What a world.
The Quebecers jump Man on a Mission early. Mabel fights back, hits a big leg drop to the back of PCO's neck, which should win him the match because he is massive.
That shouldn't just win him a match, it should get him a lawsuit for assault.
PCO should have become a zombie there and then.
He probably did. That was a start.
That's where the downfall came.
Yeah.
PCO fights back. Rougeau chokes Mo with the tag rope while the ref's not looking. I like that. The Quebecers have a nice bit of like ring psychology for tag matches.
Yeah, you can tell they're really good.
Yeah, the students of tag wrestling, which is nice. They don't get talked about ever, but
Jacques Rougeau he like trained Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
He was like in Montreal, I believe. He was like one of the biggest. Aside
Yeah.
from Hearts, he was one of the biggest wrestling trainers, I believe.
Mm. I
And
think he
then
had a hand in.
PCO.
I think he might have had a hand with Edge and Christian as well, but I'm not
Oh,
sure.
really?
I think so. I'd have to check.
But then, like PCO, I know that before he became PCO, he was training people as well. So, like,
Mm. Yeah.
obviously, students of the game.
Mm. And they don't get talked about. Like you hear about like FTR looking up to like the Horsemen and Rock and Roll Express, that sort of thing, but
Yeah.
they're doing good tag psychology, which you don't see in WWE today, except for on NXT.
Well, not for long on NXT apparently anymore.
Yikes.
Yeah.
PCO drops Rougeau onto Mo, which was impressive and shocking.
Very. I
Uh,
wasn't expecting that to happen.
he only gets a 2. The Canadians stay in control, but PCO misses a leg drop, and Mabel tags in. The Quebecers get a double suplex onto Mabel, and he is massive.
Yeah, because they went for it, didn't they? And then
Yeah,
when we were watching it, we both said, "No, that they're never gonna do that."
yeah,
And then they did it, and we both popped.
yeah. And Raven's on the outside jumping about like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, Johnny Polo, please.
Jonathan Polothan.
That didn't
Jo-
quite work.
Jonathan Volkswagen Polo.
That's what I drive.
Yeah. Go on, read out your reg.
NV. No.
Rougeau hits an assisted senton for a 2. Mo tags in. He splashes to pin, but Raven distracts the ref. And then, just out of nowhere, PCO just gets counted out. Was he the legal man? I'm not really sure. Men on a mission win by count out, and they take the belts. They're not your belts.
No, that's how things
What?
work.
What a confusing ending.
No, that's how things work.
It's not how things work based on history and everything we've ever seen.
Have you not seen Money in the Bank?
What, when you win on count out?
No, you can just take the thing and it's yours then.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Although Big E did beat Corbin, and I think he took it back. I don't know, I didn't watch the pre
I
show.
don't care.
That's fair.
No, it was
So,
a strange finish and strange for them to celebrate like they've won the belts.
yeah, it's not good.
No.
I enjoyed the match up until the finish. When I say I enjoyed the match, I enjoyed the Quebecers, and they were on offense for most of the match. So,
Yeah.
good.
And there were
Man on a
things about
mission. Say again.
there were things about Men on a Mission that I enjoyed.
Such as?
I liked Oscar.
Wow, I'm surprised you remembered his name.
I don't know why I remember his name, but I liked him.
I'm really surprised you remembered that.
Yeah, so am I. But I like Big Daddy V.
Do you?
I nearly call him Big Daddy 5 then, and had to stop myself.
Big Daddy Alan Angels.
He's all right.
Oh,
He's impressive to look at.
in a oh god, how long do you have left kind of way.
Well, not long apparently.
It's weird because we're in an era where they've just had the court order about the use of steroids,
Yeah.
and it's like we'll show you. We'll have big guys who are clearly not on steroids.
I mean, yeah, they went the opposite way.
Yeah, instead of Hogan and Warrior, you've got Viscera and Yokozuna.
I could give or take with Mo though.
You're not a Mo fan.
I don't really know what Mo offers.
Mo is incredibly over with the OSW review audience
Really?
in the sense that he's crap.
Okay. That makes sense.
He is crap, but it's funny.
Yeah,
When
I
you're
mean,
the least important member of Men on a Mission, you're not in a good position.
if I looked at it as a way of entertainment as opposed to talent, I'd say Mo's doing pretty well in that standpoint.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, Donnie Wahlberg appears with Rhonda Shears.
Ah, yes. The B-Tech
Uh,
Wahlberg.
yes. Apparently, Donnie offered to Vince saying, like, hey, I can get my brother to come as well. He was like, no one's heard of him.
No one's heard of Marky Mark.
Yeah.
What, even back then?
Donnie was bigger than Marky Mark at the time, but obviously
No, really?
yeah, he was on one of the big teen shows. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't 90210, but it was something like that.
Oh, like Smallville or whatever it was called.
I have no idea. But yeah,
Lad.
he was bigger than Marky Mark, but history makes Vince look like a mug.
But that's mostly. Most of the time it does.
Yeah, just generally. Uh Donnie Wahlberg then announces the special guest referee for this match, which is, of course, Yokozuna versus Lex Luger for the WWF Championship. The special guest referee will be Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Prefect himself. I wasn't expecting this.
No, it was a nice surprise. He's wearing pajamas.
Yeah, but they're good pajamas.
They're referee pajamas.
They're stripy pajamas.
Yeah.
If you wore those pajamas, would you count like a 3 count whenever you woke up?
Yes. I also wish he was wearing like a little sleep cap.
That would have been nice. A little stripy one with a bauble on the end.
Just think, this man was carrying Curtis Axel in his groin at this point.
I don't know because
He was probably born by this point.
I'm not going to go down that route.
You wouldn't go down there?
What, Curtis Axel? No.
No, I'm Mr. Perfect, but
Oh, maybe.
I could rant about how they should have made Curtis Axel Mr. Perfect too, but it's whatever.
They should have called him Mr. Somewhat Perfect because he's only 50% of his genes.
That's true. His mother is clearly not perfect.
They just start slagging off Mr. Perfect's wife.
Mrs. Perfect.
Mrs. Mediocre.
She didn't take the last name for some reason.
Curtis Axel just becomes Mr. Purr.
Oh. Yoko is led to the ring by Mr. Fuji, who's pulling triple duty tonight.
Triple duty. He's everywhere.
Oh, the hardest working man in the Fed.
I mean, he's got a lot of cocaine to give out.
That's true. He's also with Jim Cornette.
Dressed like a young buck.
He's dressed like a homosexual vampire.
Also known as a young buck.
Yeah. He's good at his job, but I don't like him.
It's very hypocritical that he slags off the Young Bucks a lot. And then
and looks like their dad.
cosplaying as them.
He's cosplaying as the Young Bucks at WrestleMania 10.
Before the Young Bucks were even old enough to throw a super kick.
What a mark.
What a big old Marky Mark.
To be fair, he is. Yoko and Lex immediately brawl. Yoko's sent to the outside and they keep brawling. Lex hits a top rope crossbody for 2. Lex tries to slam Yoko, but he can't. And Yoko falls on top of him, pins him, but he only gets a 2. It's a fast-ish start for the size of the men in the ring.
It doesn't seem like a very clever start, though.
No, and we'll see why shortly.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like if you're going to be given, 15, 20 minutes.
And
You're 2 big old boys.
Yeah. Jim Cornette distracts the referee while Yoko takes off the turnbuckle pad. Yoko then rest holds. He's knackered.
He's Randy.
There's 10 minutes left to go. And he's dripping sweat all over Lex Luger.
Well, that's the thing. You say they start off quick.
Yep. And then they stop.
When you're Yokozuna and you're given 20 minutes, you don't start off quick.
No. You start off slow and you continue to be slow.
Until the very end.
Lex starts flexing up, but he's taken out by a shoulder block. He escapes again, but he's sent to the outside, and the crowd are killed off by these rest holds.
Yeah, they went mild, didn't they?
Yeah, and they were into it before this. They really were. They're clearly not into Lex. The Lex experiment has failed.
Yeah, and it's kind of
It's Vince's fault.
he gives it everything.
Kind of.
You can see.
Lex has said, he's gone on record as saying that he doesn't like being a face because he has to interact with the crowd and he has to be big and larger than life, and he's just like a quiet guy. He minds his own business. He likes being a heel because he can just ignore the crowd and he can just be himself.
Yeah, but I mean, what I meant is he gives it everything in terms of he's putting his all into
Oh,
the
he's
match.
putting the work into it, yeah, but
selling. He was doing that weird noise.
he's not Hogan. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention he grunts with every single bit of offense incredibly loud. And that's it. This isn't just this match. This is every single Lex Luger match. And when we have to watch more Lex Luger matches in the future, you'll see it.
It's really off-putting.
I love it.
Whenever he does something, he goes, "Ugh."
Yeah, I love it.
I don't.
Oh, that's a shame. Yoko hits a side slam, which is actually really nice.
Oh yeah, that was like Kane-esque.
Oh yeah. It was Abyss-esque.
Okay.
Lex throws Yoko into the exposed turnbuckle, hits a kick. He hits 3 clotheslines to knock him down, and then he slams Yoko, which is obviously it's a reference to when he slammed him when they were on a boat that time.
On the Jericho cruise.
Yes, the Jericho cruise.
He's still impressive.
Oh yeah, he's huge, is Yoko.
Yeah, he's massive.
Yeah. Lex hits another elbow, and then he attacks Jim Cornette and Fuji. He pulls Cornette into the ring. Luger goes to pin Yoko, and then Perfect is checking on Jim Cornette. It's like, oh, okay, hang on, get his attention. So Lex gets his attention, pulls him over, pins Yoko again, and then Mr. Perfect stops looking and starts checking on Fuji. Luger's annoyed. He gets in Perfect's face. He pushes him. Perfect rings the bell. DQ.
Don't touch a ref.
Nope. Mr. Perfect has turned heel. Luger and Perfect go backstage. They start arguing, but Yokozuna is still the champion heading into the main event.
It was a bit of a swerve.
Yeah, I wasn't annoyed by it. I don't know why.
I liked it.
It sets up Luger and Perfect. It moves Luger away from the title because he really shouldn't be there.
And it doesn't make Luger look weak. It doesn't have.
No,
him
he won the
being
match.
pinned.
But also, it doesn't make Yoko look weak either for some reason. I'm not like, oh, well, Yoko's a bit. Because I suppose, look at him. You can't think weak.
Yeah, you're not going to see
rubbish.
him and be like, yeah, he's going to lose.
Yeah. So, overall, not a bad job. The match wasn't thrilling because it was a Yokozuna match, but not a bad job for getting everyone over.
No, I mean, it did what it needed to do. Everyone knew that the actual main event was going to be Bret versus whoever.
Honestly, people were up in the air. People really thought it might have been Lex and Bret.
Really?
Yeah.
At the time?
There must have been a temptation to give it to Lex and then let Bret beat Lex, and then you've got a title feud there of Lex and Bret for a couple of months.
Yeah, but Bret's well, I mean, Lex is a face, and it's like you don't do face versus face, not back then anyway.
No, but you could have turned Lex easy. The crowd clearly weren't into him.
They aren't going to turn him on Yoko because Yoko is a big old heel, though.
No, turn him on Bret.
What, in the match?
After the match. I don't know. On Raw the next night. Whenever you want.
No, I feel like old school booking, you want heel versus face in the main event.
Fair. Well, I mean, one of the biggest main events ever was Hogan and Warrior, and that was face and face.
Yeah, well, what do I know?
Look, I just think there was a chance that Lex could have won. It was up in the air, but Yoko versus Bret makes sense. Obviously, it was a year earlier. Yoko and Bret, and Yoko cheered to win the title, and then Hogan appeared.
That happened.
Yeah, that kind of happened. Oh dear. After this match, you just watched the world title match. It's time for Harvey Whippleman to come out and insult the Fink about his toupee, and keeps saying that he has a banana nose, which is weird.
That seemed a bit uncalled for. Just go for the toupee because that's the gimmick.
Yep. Whippleman rips off the pocket of Fink's jacket, so then Fink pushes him over. Adam Bomb comes out to make the save on Whippleman's behalf, which seems like an unfair fight.
No,
This summons.
Fink can handle himself.
Well, he clearly can't, because out comes Earthquake to make the save.
Summons Earthquake.
He summons Earthquake. And this breaks out into a match. Was this scheduled? Is this impromptu? Who knows? But Quake hits a side slam, and then a little bonsai drop thing to win immediately. That was weird.
What was the point?
You see, I see them two, and the thing is, we've been spoiled recently because you get matches like Jeff Cobb and Shingo Takagi and Ishii. You see these two big meaty boys bumping, and you're like, oh. And I see them two, and they're in that mold. They could have done it, but it was just 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. 30 seconds, seen a bit.
Do you know what it made me think? It made me think, were they given a contract by the pay-per-view people, and they said, look, we need 10 matches?
Look, we need Adam Bomb on the card.
I just really want Harvey Whippleman to get his comeuppance.
We can't get the North of Earthquake.
Yeah.
There were also one thing that could be considered here. There were time constraints that they were struggling for, and I'll touch on that shortly.
Okay. Don't call me shortly.
Stop. Jim Cornette then cuts a great promo on Bret and Luger backstage. It's really impassioned. He starts sweating, just screaming this promo. But he still looks like a young buck.
Yeah, and he's still an idiot.
Oh, well, that can't be denied.
But it's a shame that he's really good at what he used to do.
He's brilliant at it.
Really terrible at what he does now.
Being a personality.
Being a person.
Well, he doesn't function that one. Our next match is for the Intercontinental Championship. It's Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon.
Boy.
In a ladder match.
Oh boy.
But Scott, is this the first ever ladder match?
You know what, Dom? I don't think it is, and I think you should give some context.
Well, if you insist.
I really do.
So, the WWF are promoting this as the first ever ladder match. Of course, there have been ladder matches on the indies before, but it's not really official. But there was a WWF ladder match before this. It was the WWF champion, Bret Hart, versus Shawn Michaels on a house show.
Well.
So this was a tester to see, does this sort of match work? Can we do it? Did the crowd enjoy it? The crowd loved it. Bret retained the title. This was just before Mania 9, I believe. That was the first ever ladder match. But this will always be mentioned as the first ladder match.
But Dom, is there a way of watching this footage?
It's funny you should say that. There is. The WWF released a tape on Bret Hart about his championship reign, showed a couple of matches that were either standouts or had never been seen before, so they were on house shows. So I believe he beat Flair for the belt on a house show, so that was on there. And the ladder match was on there. And the tape was called Smack 'em Whack 'em.
That's up there with Smackville.
What do you prefer, Smackville or Smack 'em Whack 'em?
I prefer Smack 'em Whack 'em because it's funner to say.
Well, there we are. And if I was like, we're making a tape on Bret Hart's WWF title reign, what are we going to call it? Smack 'em Whack 'em, of course.
I mean, not the Hitman, Not
No,
best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. I know.
no.
Smack 'em, whack 'em.
It's like a man who has a lot of catchphrases and nicknames and all sorts, but no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Smack 'em, whack 'em.
Smack and whack 'em. But that ladder match was good. This one is great.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly fast-paced match. Diesel comes out with Shawn to start, but then he attacks Razor pretty early, so he's thrown out, which is good. We get one-on-one.
I do love a good when the referee gets fired up.
Yes.
love
And no matter how much of a heel you are, you're going to listen.
Oh yeah, you've got to. You've got
You
to
could be the
respect the
baddest
authority.
guy, but you're walking out if you get told.
If that referee gets all riled up and points to the back, you're gonna walk.
Do you have a favourite referee riled up and sent into the back moment? Because I do.
Mine would probably be some like old, like when Earl Hebner's old in TNA, like when he used to throw aces and eights to the back.
Nice. My
What was yours?
favourite is... I'm glad you asked. It was Chris Jericho versus John Moxley. Referee Aubrey Edwards threw the inner circle to the back, and Ortiz takes a back bump from Aubrey throwing her hands. He bumps on the apron because he's a hero.
Aubrey Edwards is incredible.
Yes. Ortiz is incredible as well.
And AEW is incredible.
Let's just watch AEW, alright?
Forget this.
No, this match is good. We're actually on one of the good ones.
I'm sorry.
So Shawn is just absolutely bumping like a madman. Like it's borderline SummerSlam 2005. You can tell the click is in full effect here.
Oh yeah. They're both selling for each other big time.
Yeah, they must love working together as well.
Oh yeah, you're going to, aren't you? You always like working with your mates.
Razor grabs the ladder for the first time. He goes to put it in the ring, but Shawn baseball slides it into his face. And it's like simple spots like this that are just over with the crowd because they've never seen it before.
Yeah, it's stuff like this that we just like go, but like they've never seen this shit.
Yeah. And there's two things that elevate it. It's the crowd being really excited for it, and it's the competitors pulling it off so well.
Oh yeah, it's like they had they had the license to not do well in this match.
Yeah.
Because it was new, because they've never really done it before, because no one had ever really seen it.
Yeah.
But they did everything smoothly, like to the point where if they did it today, people would be like, "That was a good ladder match."
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, it would slide right in.
Yeah.
Shawn starts to go for the belt, and the crowd is going wild for everything. Razor stops him, grabs his tights, and he pulls out his behind.
His buttocks.
Yes. Shawn manages to kick him away and then hits the elbow drop.
Beautifully.
Yeah. Not long after, he also hits that iconic splash, which is still used today. Like photos of that are still everywhere when you talk about Shawn Michaels.
Is it still in the then now forever bit at the start of every WWE?
I think it might be, yeah. They've got new music, but I think that's on there.
Yeah.
Razor assaults Shawn around the ring with the ladder. Razor climbs the ladder, but Shawn dives onto the ladder to save the match, which is incredible still.
It's stuff like that you wouldn't see nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. They fight on the ladder. Razor knocks Shawn off. But then Shawn drop kicks the ladder to make the save. Shawn hits Sweet Chin Music, which isn't his finisher at this point.
It's not a thing yet.
No, it's just a super kick. It's not even called a super kick. It's like I think they call it a crescent kick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think is inaccurate, first of all.
It's not a crescent.
No, it's not. But here we are. Shawn splashes the ladder onto Razor, so he climbs the ladder, holds onto it, and falls with the ladder onto Razor.
Really good.
Just unnecessarily painful for both of you.
I mean, yeah, but it causes pain, so...
Oh, I loved it. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
Shawn starts to climb the ladder, but Razor shoulder charges it, and Shawn falls and gets wrapped up in the ropes. This allows Razor to climb the ladder, grab the belts, and he does the iconic pose with both belts.
The bit where Shawn gets his leg all wrapped up wasn't meant to happen, was it?
No, it was. What wasn't meant to happen was that Shawn got out too easy.
Oh, really?
And then he had to pretend to still not be able to get up.
Okay.
Yeah, because he got wrapped up, and then he got unwrapped up, and he was like, "Oh no, wait, hang on, what do I do?"
So it was kind of like when Crush fell from the thing.
Yes, they had a bad night with ropes.
Yeah, they didn't. Everyone's had a bad night with rope stuff.
Well, true. This photo of Razor with both belts, he said that he's made more money signing that photo than he ever did in the wrestling business, which is probably a joke, but probably not far off.
I mean, he's probably made a lot of money from it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all I need. I just need one picture.
Just one iconic picture. If you can become a meme.
Oh yeah, if you're like that Hard Luck Harold guy.
Yeah, exactly. Must be a millionaire.
Absolutely minted.
Just before our main event. Oh, well, we'll just quickly talk about that match. That match was excellent. Let's not pretend. It's one of the most iconic WrestleMania matches ever. And it's this sort of thing that makes the new generation special.
Yeah, it's kind of like dipping their toe into what will come.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. It'd stand the test of time, and if that happened today, it'd still be classed as a good match.
Yeah. At the end of the day, when people ask who is the best wrestler ever, the people who are normally in the conversation are Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and we're just on the brink of them two becoming the best wrestlers in the world.
And we've just watched two of their best matches.
Oh god, yeah, two of their absolute classics.
Yeah.
Privileged. Oh, aren't we lucky?
We are.
Thank you, the wheel. Praise be the wheel.
All hail the wheel.
Just before our main event, Ted DiBiase goes to have a conversation with Bill Clinton. It isn't funny.
No, none of the Bill Clinton bits were.
No, that's why I ignored some of them, but here we are.
They were all just a bit meh.
Yeah. But it's time for Bret Hart versus Yokozuna.
Yokozuna.
Exactly. 1 year on from Yokozuna cheating to win the WWF title from Bret.
Yeah.
Can he do it this time?
I don't know.
Burt Reynolds is back. He's here to announce the special guest ref. Well, that went well last time, so let's see how it goes this time. Oh god, it's Roddy Piper.
Yeah, but this isn't deranged Roddy yet.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, I have a spotted history with Roddy Piper because in our TNA review, he was really bad.
He was bad, but this was also however many years prior. 12 years?
Something like that.
So he's a different person in this bit. So
yeah, he's on less drugs.
Not none.
No, less.
Just less.
A more controlled amount.
He's on a more manageable amount of drugs.
Yeah. It's interesting as well that they picked Roddy Piper because Roddy Piper dropped the belt, the Intercontinental Championship, to Bret at, I want to say, WrestleMania 7. So there's the, is he still mad about that? But they did hug afterwards, so maybe they're okay. And also, Piper is like renowned as like he was around the Harts. He was always around them. I think he's a family friend. So it's interesting. Is he for Bret? Is he against Bret? We'll see.
They kind of did the thing earlier in the night where it's like all the guest referees already turned heel.
Yeah, so it's like, oh god, we're not going to see it again, are we?
Could something happen here? Like that kind of thing, but
yeah. As Bret makes his way to the ring, he's selling the knee because he's a goddamn professional.
Yeah, he is.
Yoko jumps Bret before the match because everything is TNA 2004. Bret fights back, but Yoko obviously overpowers him. Yoko looks for a splash, but Bret avoids and fights back with punches. Bret headbutts, but then he sells it, which is nice.
Yeah, you don't get that anymore.
No, good. Bret fights back with punches and kicks. Bret pins, but Cornette pulls Piper out of the ring, and Piper attacks Cornette.
As he should do. That's probably the biggest face thing that Roddy Piper's ever done in our eyes.
Yeah, this tells you, okay, Roddy Piper is on Bret's side, but also, maybe I can enjoy Roddy Piper.
Maybe there are some redeeming qualities.
You've got me there. You've done the thing I want to do. This is the indicator for Yoko to start his rest holds. But luckily, this one doesn't last too long. Yoko hits a leg drop. He goes to the hoe train, but he misses.
Hoe train.
Bret hits a second
Hold
rope.
on. You could call it the Yo train.
How do I remove you from this call?
Craig.
Is there something they call it other than the hoe train? Because I've only ever known it as the hoe train.
Remind me of what it is.
You know what a hoe train is. Someone's in the corner, you run at them and you splash them. In some way. Either back first or front first.
What did Emma call it? The sandwich or something?
The down under.
They call it the Emma sandwich.
Oh, God. I'm not calling it a Yoko sandwich.
I genuinely think that's what they called it. So you could call it the Yoko sandwich.
It's a hoe train for now, until I think of a better name.
It's the Yo train.
I mean, it's a corner splash. That's exactly what it is, but
The Yo train.
it's a stinger splash.
There we go.
Bret hits a second rope bulldog and a second rope elbow drop, but he gets a 2. Bret goes for a dive, but Yoko catches and side slams. Yoko's really good at that side slam.
He's very smooth in some ways.
What he's got down to a T.
Yeah.
He knows what he's good at.
Yeah, and he knows how to work a match, brother.
Exactly. Especially when he's in the ring with Bret. Yoko climbs the second rope for the bonsai drop, but Bret pulls the rope. Yoko is unbalanced. He falls. Bret pins. And he wins the WWF Championship.
He did it.
It's a funny ending.
It was unexpected.
He fell over like a big turtle and he just couldn't get up.
He fell on his back and was just rolling.
He couldn't get off his shell. But hey, we got what we needed out of it, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and when you look at it throughout the night, it was kind of like the doubt was set in. Owen beat Bret.
Yeah, and then
Yoko beat. Well, he didn't beat Lex, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and Bret's knee.
It's
a nice story. It's a nice show-long story because it starts with Bret. We get Yoko in the middle, and then they meet in the end. It's quite nice.
Oh, and it keeps going.
Oh, does it keep going? We get to our favourite bit, but quickly, do you want to just talk about this match? What did you think?
I mean, it got to where we needed to get to.
Yeah, I think it was the better of the 2 title matches.
Yeah, definitely, because Bret Hart was in it.
Yeah, that does
And you know me, I'm not the biggest Bret Hart fan in the world, but that's got nothing to do with wrestling.
Yeah, he is incredible.
Watching him wrestle is always going to be a privilege, no matter who it is, really.
Yeah.
It's just everything else for me that I don't particularly like. But the match was what it was. It was passable. It was what you needed after a long night of mixed bag wrestling. So it was okay.
Yeah. I think it crowns Bret as the face of the new generation. It's like, this is our direction. This is who we're going with. This is our poster boy. Did he win definitively? No, but he doesn't have to against a giant. Bret isn't about, I'm just going to rip you to shreds. It's more, I'm a better wrestler than you. I'm going to find a way to beat you. So it works for me.
Yeah, it was. Like I say, it was okay. It was there.
It was fine. There are a lot worse Mania main events.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh my god.
Next year.
Oh god. Yeah. After the match, Lex Luger comes out. He confronts Bret. Oh no, is he turning heel like in Dom's booking? No, he offers him a handshake, and then he lifts him on his shoulders. The rest of the faces come out. They all lift Bret onto their shoulders to show this is our guy. This is the man. And then
it was a coronation.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
And who would come out to bloody spoil it?
Who?
Owen Hart wanders out of the tunnel and he's on the ramp. He watches on. He's just watching Bret be lifted. And he just mouths, "What about me?" He looks
perfect.
He looks disgusted. It's brilliant.
It's perfect.
Owen has been overshadowed by Bret for his entire life. He finally gets his moment against Bret. He finally has a night that's about him and not about Bret. And it still ends with Bret on top. Why is it not him? When will it be him? Beautiful. So good.
And the way that they shot it, the way that they framed everything.
Owen's facial expressions.
Yeah.
Like he looked like he could have cried.
It was just perfect storytelling.
Yeah. And it wasn't like this over the top, no, I'm going to come and beat you down, I'm going to beat you up. No, it was just, for God's sake.
Yeah, it was literally just like, it was basically just a big sigh. It was just a big, like what?
It was just like, this was supposed to be about me. This was my night, and you've ruined it again. It's beautiful. It's so good, and it sets you up for 6 months, 12 months. You can run this back because people won't sour on watching Bret and Owen.
No.
Especially if you keep telling stories like this.
It was just the perfect way to cap it off as well.
It was. It ended a good show, I would say. Really well.
Yeah. A decent show. Perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's only one way to know how good that show was.
Yeah, I mean, we'd need a quantification.
Yeah, I mean, if you had some categories, I don't know, like in-ring quality, storytelling, entertainment, the pacing, and the crowd, and then just make an overall score based on both of our opinions. That'd be great.
Yeah, do you know what, Dom? What would be really helpful is if we both provided a score and then an average was provided to give a fair balance.
Wow, that would be a great idea.
It sounds
shame we haven't done that. Good night, everyone.
Ta-ra.
No, it's time for the spin the wheel, Graps Roulette table. So the first category, in-ring. What did we make of the show overall from an in-ring perspective? Scott, do you want to go first?
I shall go first.
Okay.
We're scoring this out of 10.
Correct.
I gave it 6.
Yep.
Which does sound quite harsh, but of what, 10, 9 matches?
I think it was 10.
I'd say what? 3, 2 at a push? No, 2, 3 at a push were good wrestling.
Yeah.
2 of them happened to be incredible wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's why it's a 6. I couldn't give it any more than a 6 because what was bad was real bad.
Yeah.
But what was good was real good. So I feel like it's not a 5. It's not halfway. It's better than halfway, but I can't give it more than that.
Yeah. I came off the back of this show really excited about it because we watched Shawn and Razor. We watched the ending because I love that ending. That's my favorite ending to a pay-per-view ever.
Yeah.
We watched Bret and Owen, and I was like, yeah, the in-ring was great. And then I looked at the card again, and you get Bam Bam and Luna versus Doink and Dink. You've got Savage versus Crush. You've got Men in the Mission and Quebecers. You've got Earthquake and Adam Bomb. And it's like, most of these matches aren't that great, so I pulled it back. It was going to be an 8 because I was so high on 2 matches that are absolute 10 out of 10s. But the rest of the card pulled it down. It's a 6.
Yeah, I feel it's fair because you kind of get blinded.
Yeah.
By the real good, but you get blinded by what was really, really good, so you forget about the bad.
You can't score it too high because if we get to a card later down the line where it's like 10 out of 10 match, then a 9 out of 10 match, then a 10 out of 10 match, then a 10 out of 10 match, it's doing those matches on those cards and Injustice that have bangers throughout.
Exactly.
So, yeah, our next category is storytelling. I'll take this one. Personally, I've expressed my opinion on how much I love the Bret Hart story to the championship, the ending, as I've said, and the storytelling in Bret's match, the storytelling in Razor's match as well, Razor and Shawn. Brilliant. The rest of the card, Doink, it just didn't tell a story. Like most of the matches just didn't tell a story, they just kind of happened. Nothing seemed to be progressed. It didn't feel like we were going anywhere from it. But again, top tier storytelling for the rest of it, and I don't think anything else was too offensive. I gave it a 7.
For me, it's a similar vein, really. I mean, Owen and Bret's storytelling was so good.
Yeah.
That it drags everything else up.
Yes.
Because aside from probably like Razor and Shawn, nothing else really had a story that I was too invested in, and nothing else really had a story that kind of gave it the edge over the lack of in-ring quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, I've given it a 7 as well.
Yeah.
Without Owen and Bret, it would have been like a 3 or a 4. It was like pretty poor.
Yeah. But we had a storyline throughout the card.
Owen and Bret was that good.
It was.
It dragged it up
Yeah.
to the point where if it was just Owen and Bret, it'd have been a 10.
Yeah. And then obviously we had that story throughout the card of like, okay, Bret's facing the champion. Oh, there's the champion. Oh, he's won. Oh God, his knee. Oh God, this, that. So there was stuff there. There was meat on the bones.
The entire story was built around Bret Hart.
Yes.
The entire show was built around Bret Hart. It just so happened that wasn't the entire show and that there was other filler bits.
Which is a shame, frankly.
Yeah.
Next up is entertainment. Scott, take it away.
Now, this for me was a tricky one to score because I can find entertainment in the bad.
Yes.
Because
this is about whether it's worth watching, and sometimes it's so bad that it is genuinely worth watching.
Yeah, but sometimes it's bad to the point where it's like I want to turn this off and do something else.
Monday Night Raw.
Essentially, yes. And I'm a wrestling fan. I will find entertainment in wrestling, whether it's good or bad. And I think that because we watched it together, you find entertainment in things
as God intended it.
Yes, exactly. 2 men together watching half-naked men.
Correct.
I scored it a 7.5. It feels to me still a little bit high. Because there's probably more things on the show that I disliked rather than things that I liked, but the things that I liked really, really, really liked them.
Yeah.
And I think that they can drag that score up by quite a lot. I believe I originally gave this like a 7, and then 0.5 came just on reflection, basically. When I was looking back, I was like, okay, look, Bret winning the belt and then Owen coming out, I was incredibly entertained. That's like movie sort of storytelling.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, 7.5 for me.
Yeah. So I gave it an 8. I really enjoy this card. I've always enjoyed this card. I've watched it a couple of times over. I've never sat through this card and gone, "Oh, I'm a bit bored." I've never been bored by it. There are bits where I'm not gripped, definitely, obviously, but I was never bored. I really enjoyed a lot of it. Even some of the rubbish matches, like the Falls Count Anywhere match. You can't tell me it's not entertaining seeing this bonkers match
Yeah.
happen before your eyes.
Well, that's my point. It's like even that, it wasn't objectively good, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah. And all the characters are quite interesting. There's no characters there where I'm like, oh, he can get in the bin. Maybe Mo, but other than him.
There's no
So,
Baron Corbins.
exactly. There's no just, I'm a guy, I like to wrestle. There's something about everyone.
There's
So,
no Damian Priest.
you leave Damien alone. He's over.
He's awful.
We'll move on. I gave it an 8. Pacing. So, this is like how the card flowed, how it went. I gave it a 7.5. I think for the most part, the pacing is good. It's just the period between. I believe it's between the opening match and the first world title match. That's a bit patchy. That dragged it down quite a bit because there's a lot of rubbish between that. And then it's world title match, a nothing match, Razor Shawn, and Bret Yoko. That's like a good finish. But that little bit in between the opener and the world title match lagged a bit.
Yeah.
7.5 overall because I, again, never bored. There's never a point where I was like, okay, can we turn this off? Can we come back to it?
Yeah.
7.5.
So I gave it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was again basically because of how the card was structured around Bret.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like Bret opened the show. Bret had implications in the first world title match. It's like who's going to face Bret,
Mm-hmm.
and then the main event was Bret.
Yeah.
And I love that spacing. I love how it was like throughout the show there was world title implications dotted everywhere.
Yeah.
And when your world title is exactly that, like it's your world championship, it should be the biggest thing on your show.
Yeah. It
You
felt
should
really
always,
important here.
yeah, it felt so important. And I understand what you're saying about between the opener and the first world title match, but
Yeah, I think that's where those 2 points come for you.
yeah, I mean, there was 2 title matches.
Yeah.
In that gap. It doesn't. Okay, yeah, they weren't great, but there were things about them I liked. Like Alundra Blaze was really
Yeah.
good. I enjoyed watching the Quebecers. They were good.
Yeah.
There's still title matches. It's still somewhat important.
Yeah. I think if PCO hadn't done what he'd done today, we wouldn't have enjoyed those tag matches as much as we did.
No, probably not. But
But it
that's
doesn't matter because that's not the case.
yeah, we're looking at it with hindsight, really, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it kind of the end of the show where it went straight from Razor and Shawn to Bret and Yoko. I'd have probably changed that around a little bit. I'd have had Razor and Shawn, and then probably had like Earthquake and Adam Bomb to bring the crowd back down again.
Yeah. And
So
go,
that's
okay,
probably
calm
why,
down and then
yeah,
get back up. Yeah.
that's
Don't
probably
burn out.
why it's not any higher than for me. So like, I feel like eight's probably fair.
Yep, sounds good. Our final category before we go on to our overalls is crowd. So the crowd enjoyed a lot of this, but there are parts that they did not enjoy. As we mentioned in the Lex and Yoko match, it was silent. That's not good for WrestleMania, especially for a world title match. And again, in those periods I was talking about where it brought it down on the pacing for me, it was quite quiet. But again, the big moments the crowds enjoyed a lot. I gave it a 6.5. It feels a bit harsh because they were red hot for that ladder match, but 6.5 for me.
Yeah. I always think this when I watch older manias and older like pay-per-views, WWF pay-per-views. the crowd aren't how the crowd are today.
Mm.
So they're a bit more kind of like Japanish, where they kind of sit back and watch more.
Yeah.
I think so. It's not kind of my sort of crowd that I enjoy. I like a big, like raucous crowd. I like a European crowd that are going to sing the whole time and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And for this, there were moments where the crowd were silent. Like Yoko and Lex, they were silent.
Yeah.
For Alundra Blaze and Leilani Kai, they were silent.
Yeah.
And it takes away from matches for me. And it's like, to give it any more than a 6, which is what I gave it, they'd have to add to a match and not take away from it.
Mm.
And I felt for me, they took away from matches more than they added to matches. So yeah, it's a 6 from me.
Yep. So overall, my average for the card was a 7, which I feel is accurate for me. I really enjoy this card, always have, and yeah, it's got a lot that I enjoy. But obviously, there's some down points as well.
Yeah, and for me, my average was a big old 6.9.
Nice.
Yes, which was completely unintentional.
Yeah, it genuinely was.
It seems quite fair because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a lot of things on the show. But I would have felt strange if it came out as a 7. I don't think it was a 7 for me. I think it was a 6 point something.
Mm.
But it was on the higher side of a 6 point something. So 6.9 seems just about right for me.
So overall, that scores WrestleMania 10 6.95, and it is officially the best pay-per-view we've ever seen on Graps Roulette.
It's the best pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah, it's also the worst.
It is, but we're a glass half full kind of show here.
Yeah.
It's the best.
There's no time to sit around and let Mania 10 just sit on top of the pile forever. We've got to spin that wheel and see what's next.
Spin that bloody wheel.
Well, that's WrestleMania 10 done and dusted, but before we go, let's find out what we're going to have next time by spinning the wheel.
Look at this wheel. I'm very ready for this.
There's so many pay-per-views on there.
There's so many. There's a big white bar that we don't know how to get rid of.
No, we'll figure it out.
Are you ready?
But hey, well, I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Can I get like a small drum roll or a whoa or something?
That probably sounds horrendous.
I couldn't hear a thing.
Oh, well, you got a drum roll, but it didn't work.
I'll take it. Right, Dom, let's spin the wheel.
Oh. Look at that baby go.
It's off.
Oh, is it a good one? What is it?
Takeover Brooklyn 3!
Oh. Okay.
I'm happy with that.
I'm very happy with that. Wow. I know what that is.
Some old WCW or something.
Takeover Brooklyn 3. Wow. Well, join us next time to check out our review of NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. That is a result.
I'm so happy.